me, the striker's coming. So
All right, so we didn't get the one we wanted, but don't worry about it. We got Plan B, and that Plan B was I don't know what to do.
Transfer deadline closed January 31st, February 1st. Today's first day, Black History Month. Let's go. So there's a lot to discuss. And so where to begin? Should we start with our teams just to get it out of the way? Because
let me just say, let's start with our teams. And as an Arsenal supporter, I had to sit through a horrific final day of the transfer window, and then immediately my rent was due. Do you have any idea? We should put the end of this transfer window in the middle of the month. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Right. It's been yesterday with this happens pretty much every year. Every time the transfer window is closing, you sort of just expect something fun to happen, right? At least one curveball, something.
There's a little bit of excitement.
You know what? I didn't expect that player to sign with my team, but at least we did something. You know, at least the paychecks people are earning to make these decisions and to make moves happen. Somebody's doing their job. The problem is that when there is a team that is way more active than another, the Premier League is incredibly competitive, and if people are doing business, making deals, networking, talking to each other. They're doing the Fabrizio Romano constantly on their phone. Adam Schefter, they got to call Adam Schefter from the NFL to get information. Like even if they're not actually doing.
Adrian Wojnarowski.
Okay, do we got a Romano bomb? You know what I mean? Like, even if somebody looks busy, at least we're like, all right, they're doing work. But Arsenal Football Club, really. They made it look like, especially with the Austin Trusty move.
Enrique Alvarado, thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button.
Thank you.
Yes.
For the Austin Trusty from Colorado Rapids, which is the team that Stan Kroenke owns. This was the move that no one expected, and Arsenal fans are losing their mind because not only do they not know who this guy is. They hate him even more because he's American and he's coming from another Stan Kroenke owned club. So it's worse that they signed him rather than signing no one. Do you know what I mean?
It's a little wag the dog kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you guys wanted a striker. Well, I got you this American center back you've never heard of.
Yeah.
I mean, let me list the players that have gone out. Now, I don't know if you remember, but Arsenal had one player with COVID, and that was enough to get us to postpone a match because we didn't have enough players to start a match because one player had COVID, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me tell you what we've done. We went and said, let's send more of our players away. Callum Chambers, Aston Villa on a free transfer. Kolasinac goes to Marseille on a free transfer. Pablo Mari, loaned to Udinese. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, loaned to Roma. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Barca free transfer. This man was our captain at one point this year. Free transfer. We sent him away for free, which I agree with. But we've sent all of those players out. And the things we were saying were, we need a center midfielder real bad. And clearly we need a striker. So who did we bring in? A goalkeeper in Matt Turner and Austin Trusty, a left-footed center back from the Colorado Rapids.
Hey,
what the hell is going on?
Right. It's a look. You can't. The Matt Turner move is exciting, right? We talked about it last week, and it was like just that the rumors were swirling, but it's pretty much been confirmed at this point. And so that was an exciting thing, but that just felt like the beginning of something bigger. Right. And with Vlahovic. Right. And it was like, all right, this is the appetizer. But no, trust me, the striker's coming. All right.
So we didn't get the one we wanted, but don't worry about it. We got Plan B. And that Plan B was I don't know what to do. Why would somebody want to play for Arsenal? If you think back, the average player we're signing is 23 years old, right? 23, 24 years old. That means they were how old the last time we played in Champions League? I mean, they were kids for the majority of their life that they certainly could remember. Arsenal haven't been a great club So now, I mean, I remember Arsenal in the Invincible days. So I still have it in my head as they're an amazing club, right? If I were a player today and I'd be like, I want to play for Arsenal. If I'm a young guy, if I'm 18 to 23 years old, and my agent calls and says, yo, Chelsea are interested, Manchester United are interested, Arsenal are interested, or Leicester are interested. I don't know that Leicester's top of my list, but they might be higher than Arsenal at the moment because Leicester's won the league since I've been a fan.
Right.
Leicester's done more since I've been a fan. To us, they're still a big club. But if you're a young player, there's no reason. You've got to go out and find players that love Arsenal to this day. Your Aaron Ramsdale's, your Matt Turner's, I'm just going to say Austin Trusty. I'm going to assume Austin Trusty loves Arsenal.
You better get that tattoo. You better get that tattoo on your chest immediately.
Yeah, tell him mess up the lines a little bit so it looks like his age. You know what I mean? Like I've been here this whole time. It's just and by the way, Manchester United probably just to live in London, which is why some players, choose Arsenal
like a Pokemon.
Hilarious. Look, I would love to live in London, but I think more players would want to live in warm weather than London. I think that appeal of London is just for people who like cities.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
And I would say to answer the question, who would want to play for Arsenal? Look, after having, we went to the Emirates, we hung out with a lot of Arsenal fans and the people from Arsenal Fan TV and a lot of people, the influential people around the club. And I look, even as an Everton fan, I can easily say Arsenal are one of the coolest clubs in the world as far as like just a brand that is like just young, vibrant, just kind of dope. The culture around it. Yeah, there's a toxicity around it, like pretty much every club has, but it's still something I think a lot of players respect. They still have those legends, those ambassadors that players who looked up to, like players like Ian Wright and who are still actively kind of
but we're getting look, I'm an Arsenal fan. I should not be arguing against what you're saying, but we're getting to the point where your Ian Wrights and your Thierry Henrys, that might be your dad if you're a player. Yeah, that might be your dad's favorite player.
Right.
You grew up idolizing your maybe an Mbappe at this point. If you're 23 years old, you looked up to an Mbappe, you looked up to a Neymar, you looked up to, maybe a Benzema. You didn't grow up. If you think back to the last title-winning Arsenal side, most players of today's era didn't grow up being influenced by them.
The Vlahovic situation, we talked about this last week, but the kind of like using other clubs as offers to influence and kind of inflate a price. So if Arsenal's interested and he's already like, yo, I'm about to go, I know I'm going to go to Juve. I'm not really, but let's go through the song and dance of these negotiations, but I already got something in place over there because my agent.
Look, I want to go to Juve, but I could also get paid more at Juve if all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to some degree, like, shouldn't we be proud of the players for, using this opportunity to increase their leverage?
But the problem with that is then because, obviously the exorbitant transfer fees can be challenging on any club, but then when you add like an agent fee on top of that is also exorbitant, then this is where we get to we need a super league because everything's getting too expensive and we need a way to bring in more money because these are now the costs of having a high quality team.
How did you can't solve this by saying we need a super league?
I'm not saying we need it. I'm saying that's what
on your side
but that's what the owners, that's the owner's excuse. That's what they're going to use to leverage trying to push for a Super League because they're saying it costs too much to get these players because we have to pay these agents and all this other stuff. Like, I can understand that, like, where their reluctancy and where, especially Rocco Camiso being so upfront with it and being like, yo, this is ridiculous. This is not why I got into owning a football. I thought it was going to be fun. I thought it was going to be like, Football Manager and having a good time. But no, bro.
He's like, I've been crying this entire time. I haven't celebrated one goal.
My kids have no Christmas this year. This is how bad it is, all right?